Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Rarr from my car. As you can see, I am back in my car. My missus back and I'm back at work in about half an hour or so. It's about 8, just gone 8 o'clock now, something like that. So I'm going to have to get in about 20-25 minutes. But I've gotten quite addicted to doing this, and I really enjoy it. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I think it's because I used to spend so much time just ranting to myself that I might as well just rant to a camera, and if only 20 people see each one. It's better to rant at 20 people than it is to rant at no one to yourself, because that's just a bit weird. But I don't know whether other people chat and rant to themselves, or whether it's just me. But I do find I do get to have a good rant to myself, and I always agree with what I say, which is good. I think it'd be worrying if I didn't agree with what I said. Oh shit! I'm trying to get the there you go, just so you can see me in the whole screen. George Bush is well known for saying that he doesn't agree with his own thoughts. He said, I have opinions, I have very strong opinions, but I don't always agree with them. Which, there you go, is pretty brilliant. The other George Bush thing that you can say is, there was a time during, it was either, I can't remember if it was Afghanistan or it was the Iraq War, but or even if it was just after 9/11, it may have been that, just after 9/11, and there was a close-up of him on his face, and he said, I will not stop. I will spend every single hour of every waking minute, getting rid of every terrorist I can, and I will not stop until the terrorist threat is destroyed, defeated, eliminated, or something like that. And then it panned out, and he's playing golf, and he goes, now watch me hit this stride or whatever, and then he does that, and then he has a little game of golf for 2 seconds. I even now, I don't know whether George Bush was the biggest idiot in the world or an absolute genius. He knew exactly what was happening and just thinking, I'm the president of America, and I give this impression that I'm so thick, but everything I say is fucking hilarious. So, and then you get Obama. There seems to be a lot of conflicting views on Obama and what it takes to be a president, or to be that, a puppet. And if anyone who knows me will know that I'm perfectly aware, and you all should be aware of it as well, that whether it's David Cameron or Obama or George Bush, you didn't have to worry when George Bush was in control, or in theory in control of the White House, and it'd be people, even I used to say, it's scary having someone so stupid having that much power, but you really don't need to worry, because then they don't have any power at all, they don't make any decisions. There's always going to be the group who control the world, and they just put the various people to do the talking. And this is where I disagree with a lot of people. My point is, yes, I know that they have no power. They are put in to fall and to make us feel better. And it's really clever, to be honest. I'm not quite sure what the England game is, to be honest, because I don't think anyone's liked anyone who we've had as Prime Minister in about 20 years. You had Margaret Thatcher, who everyone hated, but then we said, yeah, she was an absolute twat, but at least she knew what she stood for. And then you got John Major. I mean, maybe this is like a really carefully structured, planned out thing, because maybe it's working, because even me now saying I'm not quite sure what their game was here. So it's obviously, maybe that was the thing, that you don't know what the game is. And it's working. But like I said, you had Margaret Thatcher, who was the twat Prime Minister. You had John Major, who was I wouldn't be surprised if even Spitting Image was happily allowed to go on, because it made them all look like such idiots that they could just get away with doing their power thing. John Major was obviously the grey, nothing, most boringest person ever, known for being that. And then you had Tony Blair, who, to be fair, I didn't mind Tony Blair to a degree, and not because I particularly liked him. He had all the Jack Nicholson Joker face and everything. I can see that. But he could string a sentence together, and regardless of whether you liked his character or not, he did have a character, and regardless of whether he should have said, oh, you know, we're going to go to Iraq and everything, at least he had a character. And again, he had his own, well, he appeared to have his own convictions, similar to Margaret Thatcher, but wasn't quite so much of a twat. So I thought he was alright. Again, didn't do anything for me really, but David Cameron, I just think is an absolute wet blanket stain of a person. He's not interesting. No one likes him. He's how the hell can you be head of the country and be that disliked and that much of a joke? I just think it's insane, really. You know, when there's pictures of him coming out, it's like of when they had that Maggie Thatcher film, and then there's like the Iron Lady, which is what it was, which I thought was a joke anyway. But then you got the Iron Lady boy, and you've got a picture of his face. I think, well, first, okay, that's really cool. And the other really good one is, and I probably will post this also on my Facebook page, was about 2 years ago, there was posters all over England and I had a picture of David Cameron's face on when he was hoping to get re-elected, and he was trying to make a serious point, and there's a picture of his face going like that, and it says, "We can't go on like this," or "We can't go on together," something like that, which was meant to be a serious thing. But of course, if anyone knows, it's an Elvis Presley song that someone absolutely brilliantly, it didn't even need that much changing. They just drawn, like, I got a little bit of the sideburns going on. They just drawn these sideburns going around like this on black. Must have only took him 2 seconds, and then done his hair up a little bit, so he looked a bit like Elvis Presley. And then they just wrote underneath, "With suspicious minds." And I think I love really funny vandalism. It's clever, and what really annoys me is that if that guy had been caught in the act while doing it, he'd probably have had to, like, done community service or go to jail. But, you know, the Tory party or the government or whoever's in at the time, you know, they're perfectly allowed to put up their meaningless shit constantly on the wall. I mean, fair enough, they run the country, but why are the Tory party, why are the Labour government, why are the Lib Dems, even when, or the government or whoever isn't even in power at the time, why are they allowed to put up their shit all over the walls that nobody cares about? But if someone actually puts something up that's actually quite amusing or funny, that people actually do find funny, you could be put in jail for it. And I honestly think, I mean, I know I keep going on about this all the time, and this is one of the reasons why it started me wanting to say, you know, I'm going to start talking on a daily basis about this. I'm so sick of reality, or how reality has to be, or is. I'm so sick of the whole, you've got to go to work. I'm so sick of the old, be scared, you know, don't do this or you're going to get in trouble while we do whatever we want. You know, wake up every morning dreading what letter's going to come through the door or whatever. And why should we have to live like this? I mean, really? We're free-thinking, intelligent, amazing, brilliant people. And I don't think we're treated like it. We're treated like mugs. So going back to my point with Barack Obama and David Cameron is, at the end of the day, there is always going to be some puppet in front of us telling us, you know, just being that puppet, being the pretend president, blah, 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 blah. And if we're going to have that person, then I would rather, even if it's like not even real, I would rather have a cool person to look at than an absolute wank stain of a person. So David Cameron, I don't know what his point is. I mean, what the hell was he doing popping up in a One Direction video like he's thinking he was cool? Absolutely unbelievable. David Camerbot. Absolutely. Ed Miliband, again, an absolute idiot. Although, if anything, I think he did actually come across looking with a bit of dignity. When the Daily Mail, like, don't get me started on the Daily Mail. When the Daily Mail decided to find some, like, things that his dad had wrote, like, 40 years ago about not liking Britain. Well, fair play. There's so much to not like about Britain. Do you think when Ed Miliband's dad was writing all his things that he didn't like about Britain, do you think any of that was really directed at the common man? No, it was directed at the wankers that we have to endure constantly. But anyway, David Miliband doesn't even stand for that. So he just found out, like, bear in mind his dad's dead, and, you know, even people I don't like, I still think there should be a certain level of degree. And I was saying the other day about how it wasn't fair that you can be jumped on for making a joke about PG Geldof, but that's a different thing, because I can make a joke about PG Geldof on Facebook or to my friends or to my family, and it's not going to have any impact on whatever. I'm not... The Daily Mail decides to put up in huge letters on the front of their page, seen by millions of people. They're one of the national newspapers. You know, Ed Miliband's dad, the man who hated Britain. Because he didn't fucking hate Britain. A man who hated Britain that much wouldn't put that much effort into blooming talking and trying to change things. Yeah, he probably did hate, you know, he hated it, he just talked about it. But anyway, it doesn't even matter what his thoughts were. It was like 30, 40 years ago, and all you've done is just brought up some random diary entry. I think he wrote it when he was like 10 or something. And just upset all his kids. Unbelievable. And then the Daily Mail said, we're not going to retract the statement. You know, blah, 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 blah. And this is why I thought Ed Miliband did act for the first time in his life come into his own. And he basically straight away said, don't you dare talk about my fucking dad like that. Because he was an amazing man. And his views, regardless, I respect his views, and regardless of what he did or didn't say, it's got nothing to do with how I run my party. So fuck off. And yeah, absolutely brilliant. And so I thought that actually they tried to get him, and that actually redeemed him. In a certain way. So there you go. I'm going to stop that there.